Hi, and welcome to Cookbook Junction. I'm your host, Celentia, and today I'm cooking from the Chicken Cookbook, published in 1980. I found this in one of the antique stores near home, and I decided, hey, this is a straightforward, no-frills book built around one idea: how to make chicken affordable, versatile, and easy for everyday cooking. The recipe I'm going to make today is Chicken Wings Parmesan. This book was written by Stanley Wolfe and illustrated by Mike Nelson, but there's very little public information about either of them, and that's kind of what makes this not unusual for cookbooks like this. This wasn't a personality-driven cookbook. It was designed to be useful. The focus is on simple techniques, accessible ingredients, and giving home cooks more ways to prepare chicken without making dinner complicated. It's the kind of book that people cook from regularly and not one that just sat on the shelf. Chickens aren't native to the Americas. They arrived in the early 1500s with European colonization and spread quickly because they were easy to raise and adaptable to different environments. For a long time, though, chickens weren't usually really meat animals. They were kept mostly for eggs, and when they were eaten, it was usually older birds prepared in soups or stews. That began to change in the 12th century. Refrigeration, selective breeding, and industrial farming made chicken cheaper, faster to cook, and widely available. By the 1970s and 80s, chicken had become the everyday protein, and cookbooks like this one reflect that shift. Chicken wings were becoming fashionable as appetizers, but the cooking approach was still very much home kitchen practical. So right now I'm in the beautiful city of Crestline, California, this time in my mom's kitchen because she actually picked this recipe from this cookbook. For this recipe, we'll need 1/3 cup of butter or margarine melted, 2/3 cup of flour, salt, grated Parmesan cheese, paprika, oregano, and buttermilk. According to the cookbook, you start by trimming the tips off the wings, and the book even suggests saving them for broth, which tells you a lot about how nothing went to waste. I'm only going to use a few wings as an example for this cooking demo. Okay, so melt the butter directly in a foil-lined shallow baking dish and preheat the oven to 400 degrees. In a bowl, mix the flour, salt, grated Parmesan cheese, paprika, and oregano. Now, I should have mentioned this earlier, but if you find yourself without any buttermilk, because this recipe calls for it, you can get away with making your own at home. You can use a tablespoon of acid like fresh lemon juice or white vinegar to 1 cup of whole milk, or half and half. You let it sit for about 10 minutes after you stir it, and that should do. Or for a thicker consistency, you can add about 2 tablespoons of sour cream if you have it. Anyway, it's time to dip the wings into the buttermilk first. After that, we roll them in the flour and cheese mixture and then place them into the melted butter in the baking dish. Once we put them in the oven, they bake for about an hour, or according to the recipe, it says or until crisp. There's no frying, no extra steps involved. And now, look at it. It looks crispy, it smells great. Very simple, and it's very buttery, very much of its time. Actually, this was pretty delicious. All the cookbooks that I have on this show, I've never made the recipe, so it's always the first time for me here. And this one is a keeper. Now, if you want to try this out, the recipe is in the description box below. So this chicken cookbook may not be a famous book, but it reflects a moment when chicken had become central to everyday American cooking, affordable, versatile, and endlessly adaptable. Sometimes the most interesting cookbooks aren't about who wrote them, they're about how people actually cooked. Thanks for joining me on Cookbook Junction. If you have any old cookbooks and you want me to check them out, let me know in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you next time.